the Nobody's Famous podcast. All right, and we are live on the Nobody's Famous podcast. We are back with another great episode. And today we are with an amazing guest with us who actually was on the show before, and we did a sneak preview. We actually rushed that show. So this time we're back and we're going to take our time. We're going to do a long show, and it's none other than the one and only Zouha Dalloul. How are you? I know it's an absolute pleasure. I'm just gonna intro you briefly, and then I want you to take it from there. I mean,
Okay.
you are a traveler. You like to experience different cultures, different experiences, different moments, all
Definitely.
that kind of stuff. Yeah, and I really want to touch on that. You are also an entrepreneur. You have started your own, own business, Makeup by Zuha, and I want to also get into that. So, that's my quick intro for the audience. But if you were to intro yourself to someone who doesn't know you at all, what would you say?
I would say that I am a passionate artist who's turned that into a sustainable career and growing every day.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so I read your bio, and what I really liked about it was there was a mention of your mother and how she's an artist as well, and through her you managed to basically get inspired to discover art yourself. How
Yeah.
how how was that process for you, or how did you get inspired by your mother and her attention to art?
So growing up, my mom being an artist and painter, I was always surrounded by her canvases and her paint and everything, all the colors and beauty and everything. She used to paint impressionistic paintings and realistic ones, and a lot of paintings about Palestine, our homeland. So I was always so inspired by the beauty of all of it. And it just turned into my passion from that because it was always my comfort and happiness, So it was home for me. It was natural.
Yeah, definitely. And I think so for you, you do makeup, but did you ever consider painting? Like when you would see that your
Yeah,
mother was
yeah,
doing
of
so, did you
course.
consider it? Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, yeah, I still do. I actually do paint as well. I paint. But for me, as a canvas, I prefer a face as a canvas rather than an actual canvas. So to
Awesome.
me, faces are canvases too. So I use that. I prefer that, you know what I mean? Different features, different, backgrounds. And yeah, it's just as beautiful.
Awesome. And I like that.
So
It's you gravitated towards that outlet. And do you think that
yeah.
for yourself, that the reason that is maybe when you realize that you could do, let's say, the makeup, and you use the face as the canvas, you are more creative? Is that the difference, or is it just something you gravitated towards, as in like with painting
It's
you
just
didn't feel the same
something
way?
yeah, it's just something that I was naturally more interested in. Just growing up as well, like, I used to sit at my mom's makeup table or watch her put makeup on, you know what I mean? I was always like, wow, you can make yourself look so good just from like a little bit of, a brush here and a brush there. And it's like, wow, you transform. So that to me was exciting. And so I tried on myself as well. And it just went from there, you know what I mean? It was something so natural since childhood.
Awesome, awesome. And I think
Yeah.
what's really cool about that is you were able to make that connection and translate it into business. But I wanted to ask, before moving on to the second the next question, was the paintings of like the homeland of Palestine, and when you used to see your mother paint those,
Yeah.
what kind of what kind of emotions did that invoke in you? Was it also, did you also plan to paint the same, or did you still paint in your free time those specific types of paintings, or is it something completely different?
Both actually. So I do all types of paintings, but I've done some about Palestine. Yeah, I've actually been inspired by other Palestinian artists as well. So I tried to kind of like take their style a little bit, and, maybe take it to another level. Everyone gets creative when they start painting. So yeah, but I do both actually. It's not necessarily a specific genre of painting or topic of painting. It's just whatever I feel
Okay,
at that
nice.
specific moment in
Nice.
time.
Did you ever think to have you like showcased your work somewhere, or have you ever?
No, just my makeup, just my makeup. That's my niche. You know what I mean? That's just kind of like my take on the whole thing. Like if I do any art, it's just for me. But like the makeup, I like to show to the world. I like to really show that. You know what I mean? So
Awesome.
yeah.
Okay, nice, nice. Well, I wanna get into the makeup business shortly, but I do have a
Sure.
question before that. Um, I read your bio again, and what I liked is there was a part that says you say that your aim is to help others find their inner beauty and enhance it
Yeah.
in their own unique ways. Now, if we're gonna get into, I want to get into inner beauty because there's so many like facets of it, so many ways we can have a discussion. But first, tell me what did you mean by that, and then we can talk about inner beauty in a bit more detail.
Okay. So I personally believe that everyone is beautiful and everyone has unique features that they can enhance. Okay. So with makeup, what we do is sometimes people feel really down, and, makeup helps them feel better. And makeup helps give them that confidence that they need in themselves. So I guess what I meant by that is that um, it's just about the confidence. You know what I mean? So basically, everyone has certain features that they may not know about that are their best features. And, with makeup, you can always make that 1,000 times prettier and bring it out. You know what I mean? With colors and with shapes and everything. So there's always a specific feature that can be enhanced with makeup. And I feel like sometimes I strongly believe that when you feel good on the outside, it brings out a certain feeling on the inside. And likewise, it's vice versa as well. So like if you feel good on the inside, it shows on the outside and you have a specific glow about you. It's the same thing, the other way around. So if you feel like your outer appearance is beautiful and, perfection, and not perfection, I wouldn't want to say perfection, scratch that. I would say just you feel beautiful, you feel confident, and it makes you feel good on the inside, and that reflects on you as a person and on your character. So yeah, I feel like that brings out your inner beauty in a certain way. So some people may not know about this, and some people may not feel a certain way. And that's why I also give courses with people. Like I give classes to people and I tell them what they should be enhancing, what they should not be enhancing. Well, it's my opinion at least, but as a professional, I can tell them how. Some people don't know how, so they want to learn how. And that's what I do. Yeah, I bring it out in them.
Interesting. There's two things actually I wanna touch on based on what you said.
Sure.
Is the first thing is about like when you, let's say when you are applying makeup, let's say to somebody. I know because I've seen it before. Either whether it's my mom doing makeup for my cousin or anything like that.
Yeah.
I see that they talk about it. They say, "Oh no, this color looks better. Don't try this.
Yeah, of
Make
course.
a
Of
few
course.
adjustments." I think this is I think this also helps to enhance
Of
the
course.
inner feeling of someone. Yeah. But
Yeah, of
my
course.
question
So
here is how do you draw the, I don't know if it's the right way to say it is drawing the line, but people they then tend to say, well, maybe internally they say to themselves, I'll only look good with makeup. I always have to
uh,
look good. How do you draw the line with that?
okay. So I'll go back to your first question. Yes, color theory is very, very important in makeup, and barely anyone, I would say maybe 1% of the population is even aware of it. So certain colors enhance other certain colors. So say, for example, you want to make your eyes pop. You want to show your eyes a lot more if they're a beautiful feature on your face, and they are usually. So certain colors will enhance your eye color, for example, and some colors will not. Or even with skin tones, certain colors match with certain undertones and some colors don't. and they make you look pasty or pale or even gray. So yes, color theory is very important, and it does take a professional to usually know. And that's what I teach a lot. And I tell my clients as well. I always give them advice on what colors they should be using and should not be using. So that plays a very big role on the overall experience and overall appearance and final results.
Interesting.
And your second question, I'm sorry, I forgot what it was. Can you repeat it?
No, what I wanted to ask was like, let's say maybe when you're dealing with the clients or the students that you are teaching,
Right.
yeah, how do you, or people, maybe you might be applying makeup to your friend and then they internally they feel I'm only gonna look good if I have makeup on, right? Where do you draw the line, or you try to tell them that you have to kind of disconnect these two things? Is that, you're always beautiful, and makeup is not the only way to
Of
look good.
course,
You know what I mean? Yeah.
of course, of course. So I'm the type of person, I always believe in the natural look. So I like makeup. I love makeup, obviously, but I always like the natural makeup look over the top stuff. That's usually just when I'm being more creative and artistic, and if that's what the client wants. But I always advise to go for the natural look, which looks very simple. And this person still ends up looking like themselves because they are beautiful. And all we want to do is enhance certain features that are already beautiful in them. So I always explain that. I'm like, okay, for example, you have beautiful skin. I don't want to cover that up. Why would I do that? I want to show you how to make it look even better, but it's still very, very beautiful. And that's actually a very key important thing. So skincare is also extremely important with my work. And if you don't have good skin, your makeup won't look good either. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can try to cover and cover and cover, but it's still going to show. So I always tell them about how to take care of themselves to make sure that they, again, glow from within, to make the makeup look 1,000 times better, rather than it being something that's just caked on. And that's definitely not attractive, and nobody wants to see that, and I'm sure a person does not feel good about themselves if they have 100 pounds of makeup on their face, and it's just unattractive. So yes, inner beauty, again, is something very, very important. And I always tell people that, and I always advise people to go for a more natural thing, especially brides. When I do a bridal makeup, if they tell me they want the over the top, I always say no. I always say, I'm sorry, but you're going to regret that one day. It's not going to look beautiful. It's just going to look like you have a lot of makeup on. I want you to look like yourself, but with a little bit of enhancement, that's it. It's just about enhancing the already beautiful features that are there.
Wow, I'm glad you said that actually, because I think a lot of people, when they see other people with makeup, they always have that thing in mind. They're like, "Oh my God, she's wearing too much," or it's always, "Oh my God, it's too much. Oh my God, like it should have been toned down a little better." So I'm glad that you touched on that point where you even have the the I don't want to say courage, but like the chance to say no to a bride, let's say on her wedding day, and tell her, actually, let's look at it in a more toned down, more balanced kind of way. Let's go for the natural look. And I think a lot of guys appreciate that. I think a lot of guys
Yeah, of
would,
course,
I'm talking from a guy's
of course.
perspective. Yeah,
Everybody does. Yeah.
yeah. Even
Yeah,
like
everybody does. I mean, natural is always more beautiful. Natural is always more beautiful. And I always believe in simplicity. So the simpler, the better, always. Anything over the top is just never going to be okay, especially when you want to. That's the key feature, is timeless.
yeah.
So natural is always better. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Well, that brings me to the next point. You mentioned that you do courses. So are you teaching like other students on how to apply makeup? Is that
Yeah.
what you do? Awesome.
Yeah, so I get clients come up to me and say, I really want to learn how to do this. They have specific questions or specific techniques they'd like to learn, or they'd like to learn how to put makeup on themselves, or they want to learn how to become another makeup artist and work in the field. And yeah, I do offer courses.
Awesome. Okay, so it's not so I want to say it's like a one-dimensional thing. You are applying makeup, but you're also teaching the trade for others, and
Yeah,
then others um,
exactly.
can apply on themselves. Then how do you, let's say, differentiate between what you would say to a student and then what you would say to a client? Because there is a little bit of overlap, I think, when you are, let's say, because let's say a client might already know how to add their own makeup, or maybe just doesn't prefer to apply it themselves. They like somebody else to apply. So how do you differentiate from what you tell a student versus what you tell, let's say, a client, for example?
Of course, it depends on their needs. So whatever they are willing to learn or want to learn or would like to have done. So if a client comes to me and just wants me to apply the makeup, then I apply the makeup. I first, of course, ask them what they would like, but then I'd give my opinion and find a medium ground in between that. But if it was a student who wanted to learn a technique, then there's a lot behind it, because they need to learn about all sorts of, eye shapes and face shapes and skin colors, skin tones, and everything. So there's a lot more detail that goes into it, as in if it was just a client that I was doing it for, I would already have that information in my head and I would just go for it. They do learn a little bit in the process, but usually it's, me doing the work. So, but if it's a student, they obviously have to do it themselves as well to learn how, yeah.
Yeah, and that brings me to another point that I just thought of now. Like, when you go to the mall and you see those, like you see either Mac or Maybelline, those places with all the makeup, and then they all the makeup stands, and those, let's say, those employees, they come and they they advise, they advise people about that kind of stuff. What's the, like, is that, do you find that yourself there and saying to yourself, why are they suggesting that? Or is that or that's actually not correct, I actually didn't think of that, these types of things? Do you find yourself in that situation, or is that type of business, I mean, that business, is that super
Yeah,
commercial, less personal? I mean, it's definitely probably less personal, but I
yeah, of
still.
course, of course. So basically, the ones that are standing at those stands are usually people who are trying to sell those products. So what's different about me is that I don't work with any specific brands. I have a bunch of different types of makeup, different brands I use, and I mix and match everything. So I don't stick to a specific brand, and I'm not trying to sell any brand. So I'm not associated with any brands, and I'm happy to not be as of now, because I don't want to be able to just become a salesperson. So for me, it's about the art and it's about the actual genuine uh, overall look and quality that I'm trying to give for the client. So it's a little bit different than those people, because they are trying to sell those products and that's their job. And I don't blame them. Obviously, they have the information about those products and what they're used for. And it's a very different aspect to what I do, because I don't have any brands associated with me, and I'm not trying to sell anything to anybody. I would advise, but I would not, from my own experience, obviously, but I would not try to force someone to buy any of the products that I use. Why would I? I mean, they don't pay me for that. If I want to tell someone to get something, it's just because I genuinely believe it's a good product.
No, awesome. I know I really wanted to get into the entrepreneurial side of your business. These questions are just coming to me now as you speak. So I was just thinking, and I would really wanted to take your opinion on it, because I actually, this is like a topic we never discussed on the show. We never kind of got into this kind of field. We never discussed that there are so many layers to it. And yes, it's great to see that there's a lot, and then that there's always, that personal touch. So I'm just, I'll ask the question now, but there was so many questions that I was getting.
Sure.
But okay,
Sure.
on to the makeup business. Finally, we're there now. Finally, 30, 40 minutes into the show, we're there finally. My first question is, so now we understood the inspiration behind it, but what is it like to
Right.
run your business? What is it like to run it?
Um, I would say it's quite tough. So basically, I work by myself for myself. So And sometimes it's very risky. It was a big risk to actually follow my dreams and start my business. I left the corporate world to do that. And I just feel that it's amazing sometimes. It's really amazing because all the rewards are all mine. And sometimes it's a lot of rewards because it's all your work and all your effort. There's no one else, right? So you have to do everything yourself. So all the risk is all mine as well, and all the rewards are all mine. So it's a very rewarding thing to do. But at the same time, it can be scary, you know what I mean? Because you never know what's going to happen next, especially as a freelancer. You never know, and especially now because of COVID, it's affected the entire market, and myself included. So it's a scary feeling. It's a scary feeling to know that you never know what's going to happen next. You really don't. But it's an amazing feeling to be able to stand up on your own and be able to get yourself places. And once you accomplish something, no matter what it is, I remember my first fashion show or my first photo shoot and my first TV commercial. And I was so proud of myself. I was like, wow, I actually got here. Like, I actually got here and I'm actually doing this. What's next? So it's a very exciting thing.
Yeah. No, I think what you're saying is definitely great, and I think these are great words for people who aspire the same, because I think the what happens with starting a business is people try to take and we've mentioned this so many times, and I hope anyone who's watching this episode either have seen the previous ones or even see what you're saying now, is people, they tend to look at their business and try to take everything in at once. And I think when you touched on your achievements, you said, okay, my first TV commercial, my first photo shoot, you take them in baby steps, and that's how you can grow it. Because if you try to take all of the aspects of the business in one go and try to achieve everything all the time, you're just gonna burn out. And
Yeah,
we
of course.
mentioned, we mentioned it before, like there's no business without your personal health. So make sure you take care of yourself as well, and don't just focus on really just destroying everything to just achieve so many things. Like, pace yourself. And I think with your type of, like, with your type of industry, with your type of service, it's very, in a way, like it's a subjective art, right? Because you might do something for somebody and say you personally think that it's very nice, but then the client might say, actually, I don't like it, let's change it. It's not an exact science. So
Of
with
course.
you, definitely there's always a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of accepting no from clients, accepting here and there. It's not like you're selling product and this is what it is, and it's take it or leave it. There's always room to for adjustments and stuff. So I think
Of
it's
course.
it adds another layer of let's say difficulty. And like for you, do you think, like, so that's what it is, running it. But for you, like, as an entrepreneur, what advice would you give to other people who would like to start? And I'm not saying necessarily, let's say, makeup, I'm saying in general, starting a business. What advice would you give to people on that?
I would honestly say to take your time to really study the market, and baby steps. I would say baby steps. Don't expect everything to happen all at once. Be patient, because you're going to have so many ups and downs. You're going to have like, woo, and then, you're all the way down here. So, and, considering how competitive it can be these days, it's just take your time, make connections. That's a very important thing. And make sure you have a lot of support around you, because you're going to need it. So luckily for me, I've had such a supporting family and such supporting friends that when I started out, they were the first ones to just, book me up and help me out and spread the word. So yeah, you need a lot of support. And I would say get that, because it's super important for you to be able to feel confident in your own work as well. And never expect anything to happen immediately. It's going to grow slowly but organically. So don't rush it. That's what I would say. Never rush it. It's beautiful and it takes time. It takes time.
Just like applying the makeup. Beautifully said, I would
Yeah,
say.
never
Yeah.
rush anything.
Yeah. No, I think like you, I like your advice because it's simple. It might sound the same to a lot of people. They might have heard the same, but what you're saying is true, and it's simple and it's easy to follow. And I think it can be applied to anyone who
Yeah,
is looking for. Yeah, it can be applied to anybody who is trying to open a type of business. Um, what is
yeah.
your uh, greatest achievement to date with the business? Let's just see which one is that.
Greatest. There's so many to choose from.
Oh wow.
Um, Greatest achievement, I would have to say, was probably when I worked on the Do commercials. I think that was probably like my wow, I did that. So I think that was pretty cool. And they gave me an idea of, taking that further. So I just kind of wanted, and I also during that time made a lot of connections. And that's how I got connected to Special Olympics as well, because someone I worked with in that commercial connected me to Special Olympics. So that was actually really cool. And yeah, it was probably the highlight of my career, I'd say.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I think it's very important to remember your achievements when you are, have your own business. Do anything. I mean, write it down, have a list, have it somewhere, so whenever either somebody asks you about your business or when you want to look back, you come to yourself and you say, oh, I did that, this happened, or because it's a way to keep you going, not that it's
Yeah, of
torture or
course.
anything, but like this is a way to keep you going, but it's a way
Of
to
course.
remind yourself that you did this, and that means that you can do better. And I think
Yeah,
that's why I wanted to.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. I actually feel the same way about all the fashion weeks I've taken part in. So I've taken part in about, I don't know, I want to say 8 Arab fashion weeks. And I get a
Wow.
certificate every single time I take part, and they're all hanging on my wall. Every day I look up at them and I'm like, yeah, these are my accomplishments. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome. No, I think yeah, that's
Yeah,
very important because people tend to forget. We tend, like as humans, we always tend to focus on how things are not going to work out, or maybe the negative side or the obstacles. Not that that's bad or anything, but it's just our nature of we focus on the obstacles, but we don't focus on
yeah,
for
of
example, an
course.
obstacle that we surpassed, or like a positive thing that we've done. And I think that's great that you do that as well, to keep yourself going, to keep things always keep things always in your mind, that you've achieved this, meaning you can achieve more. So I think it's great. So awesome.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Um, okay. I want to move a little bit away from the makeup business. I want to talk about you a little
Sure.
bit more, and you're traveling, exploring other cultures. You say that you've become enamored, or you love seizing the moment and then sharing it with others. First of all,
Absolutely.
tell me what do you mean by that? And secondly, have you done this already? Are you doing it, or is there a plan for it? What's the deal with that?
So a few years ago, I made a decision in my life where I was not going to say no to anything. And that actually opened up doors for a lot of experiences for me. So I started socializing a lot more, going out a lot more, meeting new people. I started doing activities that I always wanted to do, but I never had the courage to, like salsa dancing. So, and that in turn introduced a lot of other experiences for me. So I started traveling a lot more, meeting a lot more people, learning more languages. And that as an overall experience has been the most beneficial thing to me, and it's changed me as a person. So I used to be this extremely, extremely, extremely shy girl who was afraid to talk to people, really. I was always so shy. I'm always the quiet one. And I sometimes am still like that. But I just feel that now, with time and with experiences, I've become a more well rounded person. And and a lot more cultured and a lot more confident in myself. And that has helped me, actually. That has really helped me become that way. So in a way, yes, I feel like I am doing it. And I still feel like I have a lot more to learn and a lot more experiences to experience. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, awesome, awesome. No, because I think now with with COVID, and it's a lot of risk
Yeah,
in traveling.
of
Um,
course. Yeah.
there is, there's this part that people who love to travel, they've lost. I mean, you can travel, but there's a lot of
Yeah, but
hassle
not
to
the
it.
same way. Of
Yeah, there's
course,
a
it's
lot
not
of
the same
hassle,
anymore.
there's a lot of risk, there's a lot of things to consider. And I mean, for me personally, I also love to travel, but I don't want to put myself or others at risk, and also adhere to certain, the guidelines and all that kind of stuff. But let's say, how do you cope with the current situation, seeing that, let's say, the traveling is your outlet to capture these moments, and now that you can still do so, but it's difficult, or maybe you've chosen not to travel. So how do you cope with this?
Honestly, I haven't traveled now in almost, actually more than almost a year. I have not traveled, and who knows when I'm going to be able to travel again. And it's been sad to think about. I really love traveling and I want to travel. I'm dying to travel at this point, and I'm just not planning anything for now in regards to travel, because you never know where life takes us. You never know what's going to happen with the situation globally. You never know if I'll be trapped somewhere. You never know. So it's I just feel it's a bit of a risk right now that I'm not willing to take to travel. But I'm praying, I'm hoping that this is all going to be over soon and life will go back to normal. I hope so. And we can all do whatever we would like again. You know what I mean? And for me, that's traveling. The first thing I'm going to do the moment COVID's over is I'm out of here. You won't find me for another year.
Awesome. Well, you are your own boss, so you can always take time off, which is awesome.
True.
Um,
True. I do have a day job, but
yeah, true. Um, yeah, with the leave, it's okay. With the leave. But you mentioned Special Olympics, actually, and what was your experience like with that? Did you like, were you
Special
working?
Olympics,
Mhm.
it was the most incredible experience of my life, above everything else I've ever done, above makeup, above everything. So Special Olympics was so humbling, so humbling, and super hard. It was a super hard event. It was such a little amount of time and so much to do, but so worth it. So worth it. It was, how do I say this? It was an experience. It was beautiful, so beautiful. The most pure-hearted people in the world, literally the most pure-hearted people, and to see the smiles on their faces and their pure joy and pure happiness was worth every single sleepless night and every single tear that I've cried throughout the whole process. Wow, just wow. I never felt better in my life. I never felt happier. I never felt more accomplished
Yeah,
than I
yeah.
did during that time. It was so humbling.
So what was your work exactly that made you feel this
Um,
way?
During the process or during the actual games?
Anything? I mean, you can take us through the whole thing if you like. It's fine.
So I was in the marketing department, and I was in charge of bringing an audience to the games. So that was our key point. And it was quite difficult to rally up people and to make sure that they pledge to attend, because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people can just say, yeah, we'll be there, but they change their minds or whatnot. So I had to get people to pledge to actually attend. And it's a quite a difficult process, and the UAE is quite large, and there are a lot of people that we expected to attend, and I had to guarantee that myself. So obviously, the whole team, the whole company worked so hard on everything, and we had a lot of support. And during the games, I was in charge of taking care of all those people that I had pledging coming to the games, and obviously the athletes. And it was so beautiful, because we were able to see the fruit of our labor during that time. It was like okay, I haven't slept in 3 months, but it's okay because this is so worth it. You know, this is so perfect. Look at them. They're so happy. They're so accomplished and they're so determined, which is wow. It's just wow. Yeah.
I can really relate to that actually. And so let me guess, you were really happy when the moment that you saw them, they were, you saw them, the athletes and everyone excited because there were so many people around them, right? All these
Of
people that
course.
came to
Yeah.
see them,
They
right?
had, exactly. They had so much support. They felt
Okay.
that support. They felt the people cheering them on. And I was partially responsible for that. And that made me feel like I accomplished something really big, you know?
Okay, awesome. Because that was the point that I can relate to a lot. I mean, I was working on that event as well, only like on certain aspects of that. So I did get the chance to see also their happiness of being there, and also it was, I mean, it was a big stadium as well, so there were so many
Of
people
course.
there, and
Yeah.
they were so happy. But there was another moment that happened to me last year, that I actually, also, I related to it a lot when it came to people of determination. There was, obviously, having worked in events and working in the corporate world, you understand that there's a lot of things that we stress about, things that are, there's unnecessary stress and there's necessary stress and all these types of things. And the reason why I relate to what you said is because there was a moment in one of the events that I was working on last year, and it was like there was a short period of time, and we had to get all these things sorted and everything like ready, and it was just a whirlwind of things, and we had like a lot of different issues across the board. And in the end, the event was going smoothly, everything was running fine and everything like that. So
Yeah.
I forgot about all the major issues that
Yeah.
were
You
happening.
forget. You
uh,
forget everything. And you're just like,
Completely.
oh,
Yeah, it's like a complete different change of mindset. But there was this one moment where I felt like, you know I was unnecessarily stressed about, so I want to say stressed, but it's like necessary stress because you're putting on an event, it's normal.
yeah.
But I was like, I felt to myself like, this was worth it, and it's great to see that. And we had like a kids area, and in that kids area there was, the kids would go and they'd be able to do their own license plates, because the event was kind of like about cars, and it had that kind of like drive kind of feel to it. And the kids could do their own license plates with glitter and all that kind of stuff. And
Wow.
what happened to me was, I saw someone, I believe that person had Down syndrome, and I saw that person with one of the license plates, and that made her day. Honestly, it that that license plate, it made her day. I saw the smile on her face, and for me, I said to myself, I was
Oh,
like I stress about the silliest of things, the silliest, and I get my whole day is ruined, or my mood is ruined from the silliest of things. But looking at her in that moment, I said to myself, like, this is such a simple thing that she's happy about. She appreciates it so much. It's made her day. Okay,
yeah.
the weekend is great. She's gonna be talking about this forever now because she has this. And I said to myself, I really, it was just a way to just not take things so, like, not things so for granted all the time, and
Of
try to
course. Yeah. It's humbling,
try to,
right? It's
yeah,
humbling.
it just,
That's exactly it. Yeah,
yeah, so
it
that's why I
is.
relate to what you said. It just I really wanted to share that story with you because I really relate to what you said. It really, I really felt the same, that humbling kind of feeling that you felt. And it makes me feel bad about myself, like, why do I have to always come back to these moments where I get stressed over nothing, and I just don't remember. And I think it's just, it's part of,
It's a reality check, really. It's a
yeah,
reality check, you
yeah.
know. But that was a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that.
No, I just
I,
really wanted to, I wanted to touch on that point, especially because, you had your experience with them, and yeah,
yeah,
it's awesome. But
thank you.
thank you for sharing as well. Um,
Mm.
Zuha, we reached the end of the show,
Oh,
and
we did. That
usually,
was quick.
yeah, it was quick. I mean, hey, time flies when it's an awesome
Yeah.
episode. But I want to say, like, I do have my last question, um,
Yes.
and well, two last questions, always. Um, but one of them is tell me, what do you think of the name Nobody's Famous?
I love it. I love it. It's super creative and insightful to what you do. So I I think it's special. And I love the new logo, by the way. I think I already told you this, but I really like it. So it's a nice name. It's a good name. It's to the point, and it's it's catchy. It's not that it's catchy. It's the word I'm looking for is that it's interesting. You know, it's interesting because you never usually put the words nobody and famous together. So I like that.
Nice. I
So
shouldn't think
yeah.
of it that way. Um, but do you think? I think it in a way, if I may, I think it relates also a little bit to what you do as well, because with, let's say, when you apply makeup to somebody, in a way you're kind of giving
Mhm.
them their 5 minutes, 60 minutes of fame, whatever you call it. It has
Mhm.
that feeling, and you
Yeah.
are applying that to anybody. Any client
Yeah.
is eligible. And I think
Yeah.
yeah, in a way it relates to what you do. It's like leveling the playing field for them as
Exactly.
well. Yeah. That,
Exactly. Everybody is special in their own unique way, and everyone has um, that. What's the word I'm looking for?
I
I'm
know what
out
you.
of
It's
words.
like it's more of like it's like a spark. It's like a touch or a feeling. And I don't want
Yeah.
to get too
Everybody has
cliche.
that.
Yeah, I don't want to get too
Yeah.
cliche about it, because these things people talk about it and stuff. But I think we either brush it off as a cliche and then we just move on to the the next topic or whatever we're doing. But I think it's important to remember that people are, especially during this period, people are going through a lot of hardship. People are a lot of
Yeah.
going through a lot of mental and physical pain, and it's
Very true.
always important to remember these to remember that you are not just like another person. You have skills, you
Yes.
are important. You can,
Yes.
if there's a dream you want to pursue, you can. And that's, I think I thank you for coming on the show, because we try to always
Thank you
show
for having me.
people. Yeah, no, it's a pleasure. And I think we always try to show people that this is, on the show, that all of these people are just like you and me, and there's no there's no barrier to success, or any type of whatever dream you want to achieve. And I think what's important to remember is that failure is part of the process. We always say that. I mean, our show is all about that. My life is about that. Failure is a part of success. There is no
Of
success
course.
without failure. And I think it's
Of
it's
course.
okay to kind of embrace that. So
Yes.
again, once again, I really appreciate having you. I do have the final question, and I promise this is the final question. Final question. Uh, do you have a question for me?
um, yes, I do. I would like to know. Um,
Must be a big
Sorry.
one. Must be a big one. Okay. Take your time. Take your time.
Where do you plan on taking Nobody's Famous? What's the next level?
Awesome. Awesome. Um, I love this question. We get it quite a bit, and I think it's important to always, you know, either have the same or different answer. Never know. Put them all together, all the different answers together. The next level. I mean, I said one time in a show, I said that I wanted to take this show into space. I wanted to do this show all the way up in space, and that would be an achievement for me to say that this was the first talk show or first podcast that was done in space, to show you that, that's not impossible. It's as simple as can be. You can have a real deep conversation with the astronauts. I'm sure they need some, they would like company, they would like people to talk to them daily, and I'm sure they do talk to people. I'm sure they do, but I think that's what's important, is to also realize, the importance of such people. But I think the like that's kind of like the weird, kind of crazy answer. But I think, for the to take it to the next level, I think really is, to make the show, make it sustainable. It can stand, on its own. We can create, uh, more things out of it. So it's not just the show. There's a lifestyle to it. There's events maybe happening. I wanna,
Amazing.
yeah, I wanna, I know that it's hard with the current situation and all that, but I always felt that, part of the show should have a live aspect to it. So there's an audience that sits and watches us produce the show, like a listening party. I mean, many other podcasts have done that. That's what I
Yeah,
would like to do. Yeah, I would like to do that. And I would
that would
like
be
to,
amazing.
yeah, and also I would like to get back some of our, awesome guests. I want to, sneak peek. I want to bring in some, reunion shows, get people to come back and, talk about their experiences and how they've grown after the show. But at the same time, also, and this is like the technical things, we want to just enhance the show as well. Audio wise, visually, we've already achieved a lot with the new launch of the new brand. This is like the next step, the new season, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, and again, I'm just taking them, I'm mentioning them all now, but this is all like just baby steps from where we started. With where you go back and you see season one and
Yeah,
you see season two, they are in a way drastically different, but somehow the same thing with season three and moving forward. It's always going to have the same touch and the same flair and the same, thing. Although, with season three now, the colors are more vibrant, adds a more, a more cool, hip type feel. So yeah, we're getting there. There's many different levels to think of, but these are the kind of things that I want to focus on in the short term. To then
amazing,
say, yeah.
amazing, and best of luck. Best of luck for that. Honestly, it's really impressive what you've done, and I'm always excited to see what's next with Nobody's Famous. I'm your biggest
Yes.
fan, as you know.
Yeah, indeed you are. Thank you so much, Zuha. I want to say it has been
You're
an
most
awesome,
welcome.
awesome time with you, and thank you for, taking time out of your day to chat with me. Before I do the outro, do you have any last words?
Do I have any last words? Um,
Apparently not.
Apparently not. I'm out of words. I'm out of words. Um, Best of luck for everything. And que sera, sera, I guess.
Yes, indeed, indeed. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining the Nobody's Famous podcast. This has been the show with the one and only Zouha Dalloul. Thanks again for being on the show. Make
Thank
sure
you for
you,
having me.
like, subscribe, follow on YouTube. Make sure you find us on Stitcher, Anghami, SoundCloud, Spotify, all these different places you can find. You can watch us on YouTube, and make sure you check out, Zuha's account, Makeup by
Face
Zuha.
on with Zaha.
Face off of
Face
Zuha.
on.
Sorry, face on. I was like, I'm sure I got that wrong at the beginning of the show. I'm sure I got it wrong. So it's like face on with Zuha. Make sure you check it out. And hey, you never know. Maybe you can book, your next, touch up with her. So
Amazing.
stay tuned. All right.
Thank
Thanks
you.
again.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.